Keep the streak going. This is the In the Bank podcast. Welcome all. My name is Jackson. This is my friend Rohan. Rohan, how are you today, my friend?
Very good.
Very good. Sí, señor. Um, nice, man. What's so good about your day today?
Um, I don't know, bro. Like the apartment's clean. I watched 3 specials last night.
Which ones?
I watched Louis C.K.'s one from 2010. I forgot the name. I watched The Closer, Dave Chappelle, and then I watched some of Matt Rife's special. Not
The one
a
on YouTube, the
YouTube,
one he just did?
not yeah, the Steven Rifle one or whatever it's called. Um, yes, it was all right. I watched Chappelle's to finish it off, and once again, I think Chappelle's a goat. So, but yeah, it was a pretty fun Saturday. Just chilled. The allergies are still kicking my ass. How about you?
Yeah, I don't have as much jizz in my throat from the allergies, but I definitely like
hmm
my ears are all itchy now. I feel like, dude, do you think like cavemen were like bitching about allergies, or do you think they just sucked it up? You know
Well,
what I
I
mean? We're
mean,
such a soft group of people, just humans now.
I think they probably had hepatitis, measles.
Right.
Like
They didn't live as long for sure.
right down. Most of them probably had Down syndrome. Like they're not.
Yeah.
Like I don't think allergies are really the.
So, where do you think it became weird to start fucking your sister? You know what I mean? Because like back then, do you think it was like? Do you think it's like a biological thing? Like you like somehow you know your kids are gonna have Down syndrome, so like you don't do it, or do you think like it was like a socially constructed thing? Like you shouldn't have sex with your family.
I think when like the British people kept doing it, right, and like they had like all those like fucking ugly offspring. I think
Uh,
that
the
was
the Habsburgs were like Austrian royalty. They're famous for it, but there was a lot of like royal bloodlines did a lot of inbreeding for a long time. Yeah.
so. Would it be when was that timeline? Like how long ago was that?
The Habsburgs, let me Google it. I mean they were around for a few hundred years because they were says they ruled Austria from 1282 until 1918. That doesn't sound right. The last date, but the first one sounds about right.
So
Like that time period.
so they were fucking within the family for that long? Was it like 700 years?
I think the inbreeding stopped obviously a little bit down the road, but if you look up like Habsburgs, you'll see like photos of what they used to look like, and they look inbred as fuck for sure.
Yeah, like the big chins and like
Yep.
those. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Weird
yeah.
like mouths and eyes and stuff. Yep.
So I mean, it probably still happens inbreeding, right? With like some of those tribes that are like remote, just out of nowhere. Like, how
Mm.
the fuck do they keep up?
Well, I think that's why they're still like using Stone Age shit is because they're dumb and they keep banging each other's sisters. It's like their brains haven't developed. You know what I mean? But dude, those things are weird. Those uncontacted tribes, like the guys who come and try to convert them, they're like, I'm gonna go convert these people to Christianity, and there's no language connection at all, and they just go on their fucking rowboat over there, like I'm gonna do this, and then they come back full of arrows and fucking dead. But it's like they
Have you
probably get
actually
eaten too.
have you seen? There's a tribe in Africa. There's been a few YouTube documentaries about it. I can't remember,
Mm-hmm.
but these guys they like hunt baboons. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
they're like fucking shredded. They can eat anything. They don't get sick. They like go like it's pretty impressive. Like you would think like with all the sister fucking and all the like the
Mm-hmm.
inbreds like they like be retarded, but they're like in shape. They can probably like they walk for miles, they run for miles, they train their dogs very
Yeah.
well to go and hunt. It's actually some impressive shit, bro.
Right. And they're not bitching about a runny nose. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, those guys.
They suck it up and
Yeah,
fucking hunt the baboon. Like baboons are fucking. You ever see Tarzan, the Disney Tarzan? Those things are scary.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, and dude, I saw one video. It was late at night, crazy dark, and guy, I don't know, he looked like a kid, maybe not too young, dude. He took an arrow, fucking bullseye, hit the baboon. It was off of a cliff.
Oh, that's so cool.
Impressive
Yeah.
shit, dude. Like this is not maybe they don't inbreed, right? I don't think the tribes in Africa inbreed then. Like, but how do they, are they just leaving and like it's just like a last small group of them? Like, how are they kind of keeping up with their numbers?
I don't know. That's a great question. But that's kind of what makes me think it's like a biological thing. Like you shouldn't bang your sister. Like there's something because like when that happens, like universally people are like that's gross. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like there's not. I mean the people who don't think that's gross are mentally ill, as in like they have the traits that like make them kings of fucking everything. You know what I mean? Just like psychopathic, sociopathic, fucking don't care.
Yeah, but I mean, if yeah, it's very disgusting. But my question is, like, if they're like these guys in Africa are damn near superhuman, was it just like
Yeah.
the white people just like when they do it, they get like fucked over. But like when these tribes in Africa do it, like they just breed fucking superhumans. Like they're breeding damn near
Maybe.
fucking Marvel characters in unlimited stamina and crazy aim with the fucking bow and arrow, dude. That's some superhero shit, right? Fucking can
Yeah.
go climb a tree, grab honey out of it. It's
Yeah.
impressive shit, dude. Like it's like
Well, I think it's like it's over the last couple few hundred years. Like, what have their people been doing, right? Their people are fucking running after shit, shooting with bow and arrows, all that shit. Our people are just in the
complaining,
West are just complaining about runny noses, fucking eating Twinkies and
protesting,
shit. Yeah.
protesting about gender.
Yeah. Like it's in terms of like how badass an organism they are on average, like it kind of makes
Hmm.
sense like what their day to day is. Life's too easy
Yeah.
here, man.
I would love to see like the guy who I just mentioned. Like I would love to see
Yeah.
somebody who's been in a tribe their whole life. Like we
Yeah.
take them to America and like throw them in a Waffle House. You know what I mean? I just love to like see how they just interact with everything. Take them to the mall.
Well, some guy would probably try to fight him at a Waffle House, but
Yeah, but
the
like
mall,
that's a
yeah, the
scary
mall.
fight.
Oh yeah, I mean, some drunk asshole would die that night, but yeah, dude, or like, yeah. Well, they're opening like the UFC's opening a performance institute in Africa. Like it's a big goal
Hmm.
that they have, and it's because they think there's like a shit ton of athletes down there that like because of where they are geographically and like economic opportunities and shit like that. Like they don't have the opportunity, but they're like, we want to make you the next world champion, sort of thing. They think there's like a bunch of just dudes down there ready to fucking kill. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I mean they're gonna be scouting the guys who fight with baboons and
Yeah,
who are
exactly.
riding lions. Hey, that's a scary man, bro. I mean Khabib was wrestling
Yeah.
bears, right?
Oh
Like
yeah, I was
what's
just gonna
scarier?
say.
Wrestling a bear or
Yeah.
wrestling a lion, right? Like who do you want?
Right.
That's a smart move by Dana, bro. Another great business decision by the UFC.
Yeah, dude, I love Dana gets a lot of hate, but that guy knows what he's fucking doing, man. He's the best to ever do it.
Yeah, I mean, think about it.
Um,
He slapped his wife, and nobody knows about it. He
right.
stopped
It's I
talking
mean,
about it.
that's so here's the thing, and here's where I think all that changed kind of. And I think like when kids go back and read about this time in history, there's like the whole everyone was getting canceled for everything, right? And I think where it started to change is when those videos of Rogan came out of him on his podcast and like they said the N word and whatever. He just kind of was like, hey, this was a joke. It wasn't a great joke, but here's what I did. And like all the vaccine stuff, everyone was trying to cancel Rogan and it just didn't work. I think that is like the inflection point. So it's like down in terms of like our smartness as a society. And I think that's where it's going to start to like, if we look back from a 10,000 foot view, like 20 years later, I
Hmm.
think that's where it starts to come back. I think.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the vaccine shit. I think that's yeah. We got to be careful on YouTube not to say that word. That's a demonetized word.
Right.
So, I mean, Rogan's response to the, to the Bill Gates funded medicine. Um,
Yep.
I think like when he kind of brought some logical sense into that, I think that may have been a big flip against like being canceled and having your own opinion. I think that's definitely a standing point. But I mean, also Chris Brown beat Rihanna, and like he's still selling out to shows. Like it doesn't seem like people care that much. I
Yeah.
think if you're talent,
He
I think
had
if you're
like
just talented.
he had like a slow period though. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
I think
I
talent can
definitely see what you're
outweigh
saying.
the like. I think talent can outweigh the crime, right? Like Michael Jackson, even though in your opinion, Michael Jackson
Yep.
could keep getting away with more shit, right? But R.
Yep.
Kelly, right? He was not as talented
Right.
as Michael Jackson, so obviously it
He's in
caught up to
jail.
him, right? The catch up period is, you're kind of at a race with your accusations, pretty much, right? So it's talent versus the accusation, right? And once that talent starts dwindling down, the accusations, it's the turtle versus the rabbit is how you So if R. Kelly was still making hits,
Yeah.
who knows? The industry's evil, bro. Who knows what the type of money they would have put behind all that to shut that shit up? But
Right. And like who's like my one of my dudes, right? Louis C.K. Super talented. Just sort of he had to like usually they have to like go away for a little bit. You know what I mean?
mhm.
There's like a, all right, I'm gonna chill out over here and fucking go on a cruise. You know, who knows what they're doing, right? He's not going on a
Yeah.
cruise. He has way too much fucking money for that. But and then they come back, and if they're talented enough, it just doesn't matter. I think. But yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
point.
I mean, like, who's more hated as a comedian, him or Louis? Well, we talked about this months ago. Brendan Schaub versus Louis
Mhm.
C.K. Who gets more hate? As far as I'm concerned, Brendan Schaub didn't, confess to those things. They brought Chris D'Elia back, and for some weird reason, Schaub still gets the most hate, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, to my understanding, Louis C.K. asked those women if he could masturbate in front of them. You know what I mean? I think it was a
Yeah,
question.
I don't fucking know
I
who
wasn't
knows.
there,
I mean,
but yeah,
yeah, we went to guy at Theo Vaughn. We went to him. He's like, I would be honored if Louis C.K.
yeah,
masturbated
yeah,
in front of me.
yeah. Dude. So that guy Ari Manis. So we went and saw Theo Vaughn here in Phoenix on Thursday, and Theo was awesome. Like one of the most electric personalities. It was, and the stand up was great, like really good. But the guy before, I thought Ari Manis was fantastic as well.
Yeah, I thought both of the opening acts were actually
Yeah,
pretty
I
good.
forget I forget what her name was, but she was great.
She sounded like Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Like I was happy she was a female comedian who didn't just talk about her pussy the whole time. Like I really appreciated that. Right?
Yeah, she was really funny. I agree with you. They both were great. It was a really good show. Cool theater. It's a good time.
Dude, Theo Vaughn's a unique talent, man. It's not even like, dude. This is I was talking to you about this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if somebody else tried Theo Vaughn's joke at an open mic, right?
Right.
Like, I'm not gonna say a joke for out of respect, but someone else tried just one of his jokes
Right.
at an open mic, it just wouldn't work. But it's just like Theo's like energy and his delivery. It's so like infectious. Like
Yeah.
he's just such a unique stand up. You just never see anything like I've just never seen any stand up comedian like that.
Yeah. And so I think I told you this, but and this might just be because I'm a huge fan of Theo's and he was the headliner for the night, but I think there's something to it. Like the two openers go, they do a great job, really funny people. And Theo comes out and it's like you can feel like the energy and the
Hmm.
presence of like who he is. Like he comes out and it's like it was very like I was like, I have to watch what's going on here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was very like just a very gripping and like that just a fucking the dude's energy was like you could feel it as soon as you saw him. You're like, holy shit! Like to me at least.
Yeah, for sure. And that night, I was actually really happy she stopped doing it. There was a lady next to us who just
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah,
she just wouldn't shut the fuck up. She was just
yeah.
yelling shit the whole night. I was happy
Mhm.
Theo's opening act called her out and told her to shut up, right?
Yeah.
She yelled out like Sons in Four. What else did she yell out? Like just an attention whore, dude. She was
I
so
wasn't.
annoying.
Yeah, she sucked. Uh, yeah, Ari Manis did a good job handling that. It was a cool show, man. I'm very very glad I went. I bought those tickets like as soon as like months ago. I think in like last calendar year. Glad I didn't forget I had them. But yeah, that was cool. Definitely
Yeah,
glad I went. Um, yeah, we got a nice little chat here at the start, but we got a viewer question as well.
yeah,
Again, Rohan, you want to take that real
appreciate it.
quick?
Yeah. So our viewer, a little bit of a different question, kind of the same boat, but our viewer said, "My parents are trying to arrange a marriage for me. The girl is a family friend. I have not seen her in a while. How should I approach this?"
Arranged marriage, but it's like he's being dramatic. It's just like a date, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think
Unless
it's
I
like
mean
a
maybe he lives
feel
in
out
fucking
India.
Bangladesh and like where it's cool. Yeah, exactly, exactly. I would see. Here's the thing. I would like to know. That's where my mind goes. Maybe I'm a racist, but like the first thing I would like to know is what color are you, right? And that's not me sitting in judgment, right? It's not me sitting in judgment. It's not me saying one is better than the other. But some things are okay for some people, and some it's like kind of weird, right? You're an Indian guy.
Hmm.
Your parents set up your wife. Just kind of how it goes sometimes, right? You're a
Yeah.
white guy, your parents set up your wife, you're kind of a fucking dork, and you need to sort of take account for that. Obviously, we don't want to like reveal anyone, but is there like a profile picture on this
Yeah.
guy? Like, do we?
Yes, he is white. That is,
He's a
he is
whitey.
a white
Okay.
male. He's a white male. Yes.
So if it were me, right, and my parents were trying to set me up with someone as a white guy, right, I can speak from my experience, but you know, I would have a lot of like ego about it. I'd be like, no, like I want to be the one to fucking do the deal and set the thing up. Maybe that's just me being a weirdo, but on the other hand, though, I mean, it's hard out here, right? I've been going on some dates lately, and like, man, it's hard to set these things up and really like get some buy-in and like just sort of move things forward. Sometimes they suck, sometimes you suck, right? Sometimes it just doesn't mesh. Like if you can get your fucking, it's like having an agent, right? Booking shit for you as a like, you know what I mean?
I'd be
I
offended.
think there's something to it.
I'd be
You'd be
offended. So
offended.
I'm
Why?
Indian. So I'm Indian.
Right.
My parents didn't have an arranged marriage. They're divorced. So, whatever. But
That's
I'm
probably
Indian, and
why.
if my yeah, I'm looking at my friends. They're Indian arranged marriages, right? You know, it's
Sorry.
like yeah, it's like what all I had when I was at dad's was fucking dog shit, burnt lasagna. You know what I mean? But anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
when I was where was I? But here's why I'd be offended, right? Pretty much, your parents are calling you a fucking loser.
Yeah.
I that's like your dad called you a virgin, dude. Like
Yeah.
go look in the mirror. Understand. First, I'll say no. You don't even know how the girl looks like anymore, right? For all like, if both sides are willing to do this, right? That's an ugly daughter.
I think yeah, I'm sort of with you. Like the pride thing would bother me. Like I would be, it would I'd feel like a certain way about it. I don't think there's like a way I could like get over that. Maybe there is. I don't know, but like additionally, on top of that, I don't know, man. I think but here's the second side of that, right? If you're right, and this guy's kind of a dork, right? He's just had, or let's just say he hasn't had a lot of success with the ladies, right? And I don't know, like we saw in the sports world, right? Lamar didn't have an agent. He had all this fucking trouble trying to get this deal done. Finally got done, right? But it's like he
Highest
just had
paid
an
though.
agent. Yeah, he just had an
Highest
agent that didn't.
paid.
Well, I mean, he's highest paid because the Jalen Hurts thing. Let's not get into that, right? But it's like that was an ordeal, right? The whole thing was an ordeal. You have an agent. You have an agent. If I had an agent
No.
setting up dates for me, I'd be okay with that. I don't know if it's,
That
but
no.
the weird thing is that your parents are the agent. You know what I mean?
No. No. That's a terrible angle. That's a horrible. That's stupid. Bro, you can't
Dude,
be in your
how
fucking
fucking sick would it
no.
be? No, 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 no. Listen, listen, listen. Take the parent thing out of it, right? Take the parent thing out of it.
No,
How
that's a
sick would
key
it?
factor.
Right,
No,
right,
you
right. Right.
can't
But
do that. No, it's
just play
different
the
if
game.
you
Just play the
no
game with me
no
for a
no
second.
no no. We're not gonna play that game because it'd be
Just play the game
different
with
if.
me for a second.
Fine, fuck, I'll listen to you.
Okay, listen, listen, listen. How fucking I hate this word, but how alpha would it be, right? You're just sitting there and you get a fucking text. It's like, hey, you're going out with someone tonight, and someone's just booking you shit. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, but unless it's your parents.
That's a tough part of it, but I mean, let's try and be positive here, right?
First of
Like
all,
maybe you said
this
this
is not
guy.
rich. This is not Rich Paul who's getting these guys max deals left and right. All right, this is a once like he doesn't know what to do. All right, this is not an agent. This is a fucking once in a blue moon thing, and he doesn't know what to do. Um, what do you ask on that first date, right? Like what bar like because normally when you go on a date with a girl, right? You kind of random. You could have maybe you ran into them. It was off a dating app, maybe friends, whatever. You kind of have something. This is a blind date set up with your parents,
Yeah,
right? Why did your parents do this for you? What do you ask?
yeah. So that's a good question. Do you go in and do you address the elephant in the room? And if so, how far into the date do you do it, or do you just come in and like pretend like you set it up? What do you do? Because there's,
That's a
I
big
I
lie
think
if you're pretending. That's a big lie if you're
yeah, but
pretending that you set it up.
you're definitely setting it up for failure, right? Because there's nothing worse than the first date when you go out and you just sit there and you're fucking talking about your family the whole time. Like there's nothing there. It's boring as
Yeah.
shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It sucks. And so like that's a great way to get that started and have it suck. So I don't know. It depends what you're doing, man. You got to like for the guy like if you want to do this, which I kind of don't recommend, but if you want to do this, you got to do something that's like kind of like whether it's outside or whatever, but like you have to have it to where it wouldn't be weird to not talk about it because as soon as you start talking about it, it's kind of done, at least to me.
I mean, how are the family dinners? Like, if the family friends see each other, it's like, I just shagged your daughter. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it's different when the families don't know each other, right? But when they know each other, it's like, dude, you're just setting somebody up to shag your daughter.
Yeah. Well, that's a fun time though to be sitting across from the man whose daughter you're banging. Like that's a fun experience,
Well, I've
at
never
least to
met
me.
the father. I've never met the father of any girl I bang, so I don't. I
Highly
don't.
recommend it. Like it's a positive experience. You're sitting there and it's like he's staring daggers through you. You know what I mean? Especially if he doesn't like you. That's super fun too. Because like
What was
it's
the
like you
worst
just
experience you?
have. Go ahead.
What was the worst experience you had sitting across somebody's sitting across? Let me reword that. What was the worst experience you had sitting across a father, knowing you've just been banging her daughter?
So I have a story, and I don't know if it's appropriate, because if the person involved hears it, they'll know it's them. I'm not using names though. Okay, I'll do it and not use names. Here we go. All right, the story time with Jackson. So when I was in college, right, my first year of college, I was dating a girl who was a sophomore. She was my girlfriend in high school, right? And she lived elsewhere from where I lived, and so we didn't get to see each other a lot. But
She was a sophomore in college. Clarify that. Not a sophomore in high school. She was a
yes,
sophomore in college. Clarify that. Okay.
year older.
Clarify that.
It
Yeah.
was it
Okay.
was
Good.
I was either 18 or 19 or 19 and 20. It was one of the two.
Okay.
Thank you.
Clarifying that. Yeah.
Yep. And so we didn't get to see each other a lot, and so I came back home for Christmas break, right? Or Thanksgiving break, and it was one of those two. And I went and stayed at her apartment for a couple days, while she was living in college, and it was cool, right? Because it's like, it was one of the first experiences where it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's like half adult, you know what I mean? Because you're just staying at
Mm-hmm.
your girlfriend's apartment, and there's no like, oh, are our parents gonna come home? There's none of that, right? So it was cool. And long story short, like the first night I'm there, we um we get down to business, right? And
Yeah.
she comes like really hard, like this she always did, but like this time it was a special one, right? A really special one. And uh so lo and behold, right? So so that happens, right? And come back, and she's kind of just chilling there. She's unconscious, right? And so I'm like, man, she fell asleep. Yeah. Yeah. And so I'm like, great, this is really cool. I wanted to, so I'm sitting there with blue balls, right? And I'm kind of pissed, but it's like, if she's asleep, I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? I mean, I could,
Yeah.
but that's kind of
That's a horrible thing. Yeah. Yeah. That's a.
so I'm like, fuck, right? So I go to the fridge, I get some ice cream or something, fucking, god damn it. And come back, and she's still unconscious. And at this point I think she's asleep, right? But it's like it's kind of early, and I'm like, it's like probably like 8 o'clock or whatever, and I'm like, I don't want to fucking go to bed right now. So I kind of do the thing where it's like you wake her up, but it's like you act like you weren't trying to. You know what I mean? I was doing that, and she wasn't waking up, and still wasn't waking up, still wasn't waking up, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And she starts like mumbling like weird shit. Like if you've ever seen like an exorcism movie,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? It's like that. Like not as intense, obviously, and she's not like fucking contorting and everything, but it's like she's like
Yeah.
mumbling in what feels like a different language. And so I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And her friend, who she was like literal roommates with, like they had bunks, right? She walks in after the deed was done, and she starts hearing her mumbling this shit, and she's like, what the fuck is going on, right? And
Yeah.
immediately the friend thinks that I like drugged her or something, right? Because she's acting like she got drugged. And I have to tell her, like, listen, I just got mad fucking game, and and she came so hard that she's now possessed by a demon, right? Like, and so I had to explain this to her, and she doesn't buy it for a fucking second, right? And
Yeah.
like who would? Right?
Obviously. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's yeah. I
She's
mean, I
this
would.
this girl's never met me before too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
she's she doesn't know my deal, right? I kind of give off sometimes that like guy who would drug a girl vibe, maybe. I don't fucking know, right? And so she's looking at me like I'm, a piece of shit, right? She's like, feels like she's got to protect her friend for me. Good for her, right?
Mm-hmm. Of course.
And so we're both trying to wake her up, and she's not waking up. Like, she will not wake up. And so it gets to the point where it's like, all right, we got to call 911 because, like, she's not waking up. And so, ambulance comes and they're asking us what the fuck happened, right? And I'm telling them, like, guys, I just got it. You know what I mean? And
You're just him.
I'm just, I don't know what to tell you, but I just got it. And there she is, right? And then they don't fucking believe it either. They're like, they think I drugged her. They're kind of treating me like I hit her, maybe too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't fucking know. They're looking at me funny too, right? And we're going, and so they take her in the ambulance to the ER because they can't wake her up. And they're driving in the ambulance to the ER, and I'm driving with the friend who thinks I'm a piece of shit, right? And we're in the car, and we're behind the ambulance, and there's a little window into the back of the ambulance where you can see what's going on in there. And I saw her wake up in the back, and I couldn't help but start laughing because, like, A, she's okay, right? She's awake.
Yeah.
And so there's like a relief there. But B, it's like, from her perspective, she just like had this omega nut, right? And then wakes up in an ambulance. Like, that's hilarious. And so so I start laughing, right? And her friend is like, "You, like, what's so fucking funny? Like, you piece of shit," And I'm like, "I'm sorry, I was just fucking." And so we get there, and we want to go back and see her, right? And they won't let us back there. And they're saying it's like, because she's recovering or whatever, but it's like they think I fucking did some nasty shit, right? And so they get her awake, and I guess they talked to her, and she told them what happened, right? And so they let us back, and her friend's asking her what happened, and she told her, she's like, "Yeah," and I'm just looking at her like, "You fucking betcha," you know what I mean? Like, you're looking at that guy, and and she starts looking at me way different, right? She's like, "Whoa, like, what's going on here?" Go back, rest of the weekend goes great, right? And month or two later, right? So we're in college, and so she went to the ER. That's an expensive bill. She's on her parents' insurance, right? And so a month or two later, her parents are like, "Hey, we'd like to take you to dinner." And I knew this was weird because they hated me. Like, they did not like me. And so I show up to the dinner, and we're both there, and they're like, "Hey, we know this thing happened with the hospital. Next time, if there is a next time that this happens, we'd like to be notified during the event, right? We don't want to hear about it days later, right? When we get the bill from the emergency room." And I was like, "Hey, that's totally fair. I should have called you guys, right?" That's a totally fair request. And so I was like, "Yeah, that's makes sense to me." And I think I said, I just sort of felt, I didn't know how to really, like, bring it up with you guys, and I was kind of like, I was apologized. And they go like, "So why didn't you feel comfortable talking to us about it?" And I was like, "Well, did they tell you why she was in there?" And the father is sitting across from me, and he just goes, "Yep." And I just kind of went like this. I was like, "Yeah, that's why." And then they were like, and then that ended right there. But yeah, so this, sitting across from that dude, knowing that that I was that successful in that endeavor, with the fruit of his loins, was an awesome experience. I highly recommend that to anyone. It's like the ultimate checkmate. You know what I mean? It's like you're sitting at a chess table, and the guy across
She calls
from
me
you,
daddy.
right, just fucking check fucking mate, dude. And it was nice because the guy was always like, really, I mean, I'm sure he's a good dude, but just didn't like me. I'm sure it was just dating your daughter, like, normal thing, right? But like, always very, like, short and, like, just kind of terse with me. And I was like, that's fucking right, dude. That's fucking right. So that's my story. Hopefully they don't see that, but if they do, sorry.
What did you order at the dinner? Like, I mean, like, if you can't
Sushi.
like, lobster roll. Like, what was it? How expensive was it?
It was raw. It was raw sushi, and they have a mean Vegas roll, and that's not a cheap roll. It's not the most expensive thing on the menu, but it's good. If you live in the Phoenix area, go to Raw Sushi, get the Vegas roll. That's what I got. It's
I was
fucking
gonna
really
say you
good.
got to get yourself a nice little steak after that one, a little tomahawk,
Yeah,
wagyu.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause
like
you,
really.
I get the most expensive thing on the menu, and then I'm
Like
like,
a
yeah,
waiter
I'll just
comes in.
fucking,
The waiter's like, "Yeah, are you guys ready to take your orders?" Yeah, I like the wagyu, please. A ribeye
yep,
A5, olive
yep.
fed only. Yeah, that'd be Yeah, see, this is why I don't want to meet these girls' fathers. You know what I mean?
No, dude, you do.
Um,
Like, it was
well, I mean,
so satisfying. It was awesome.
well, yeah, I'm not gonna. Well, here's the thing. I'm not gonna go on a meet a girl's father. Like, I'm not gonna go up to a girl who I've been friends with benefits with and be like, "Hey, can I meet your
Hmm.
dad?" You know what I mean?
Right,
Because then one, it puts the wrong impression that I want to date them. I don't, and then also
right.
it's like fucking weird, right? Like, so it's like, how do you guys meet? It's like, well, I told your daughter I want to fuck that dumb truck of an ass she has, so it's not a it's not a ideal conversation.
It is though. Like, you go and say that, like, there's nothing the guy can do because he's old enough to see the world and know that like the more he pushes back on this daughter, like the more she's going to be about this scumbag that's sitting across from him, right? And so he just has to sit there and take it. And it's like it's such a riveting experience. It truly is.
If I have a daughter, I'm gonna make sure she converts to Islam for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna have daughters. I just have that feeling, but it's gonna be new for me for sure because like I was raised by my mother, but I have two brothers. I don't understand females at all. It's
Hmm.
going to be an interesting experience for sure. I
Actually, I
think
don't
that's
even
what's going to
think I
happen to
want.
me.
I don't even think I want kids, to be honest, dude. I
You're
just
young. That's
don't.
why you're saying that. You'll get older.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't. Right now, bro, I'm focused. Here's the thing, right? I want to
Right. Well, I
do.
don't want kids right now either. Right.
Well,
You
okay.
want them eventually. Like you'll turn like a certain.
No,
What's cool about being a dude though is we can do it at like 40.
I might get frozen at 25, 26.
Yeah. I mean,
I might, I might get
We
my.
can do it late, right? Like old Billy Blueface. Um, he like got married late, had kids super late, and he's a happy dude. You know what I mean? He's a lot happier now. That's sort of what I want, like just the late
Yeah,
trajectory. I'm not trying to get married at like 25 like all these kids are, but
yeah. My parents
that's who
got
you are.
married at.
More power to you, but
Yeah, gonna be me. My parents got married at 21, 22. They had me when they were 20. My mom was 20. My
same,
dad was 21. Yeah, really
same. Yeah,
young.
my parents got
Are you,
married super young too. They're not
are your parents
together.
divorced? Yeah, same. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Don't make that mistake.
that's why we do comedy. Yeah, rah!
Yeah, I think 40. If I were to have a kid, it'd be like probably 40. But dude, I just
Yeah,
no. I have to have a really successful comedy career. Otherwise, I just don't want to do it. Like I don't want to.
yeah, we'll get there.
Like Theo
Good.
Vaughn's Theo Vaughn. His dad had it when he was like 80 or some shit like that, right?
He was old. Yeah, he was really old, and I think that I mean that's too old.
Yeah, that's like
That's
you're a
definitely too
grandpa
old.
at that point. You're like that's
Yeah.
great grandpa. That's older than my grandfather.
Yeah, it's a pretty potent seed right there. Props to the guy, but that's too old. Although, if he didn't do that, the world would not have Theo Vaughn, and I would argue that the world would be a
It
worse
was an
place without that guy. You know what I mean?
No, that was an elite nut for sure. That was one of those special
Yeah.
ejaculations. That was a very
Yeah.
great ejaculation. His mom was in the
Yeah.
crowd at the show too, which is very cool. So thank you to her as well.
Yeah. Big ups to those two. Very very grateful for what you've brought into the world. That's what I'm saying. Like, what if like what if inside your balls right now, right, is the kid that cures cancer, and like you're just like, nah.
Let me shoot it off to some Pornhub instead.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like yeah, I wonder how many fucking like Nobel Prize winners I've just shot in the sock. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think I've recently kind of stopped watching porn, right?
Same. Yeah, it's nasty shit.
Yeah, I mean, I was never really big into it, to be honest.
Hmm.
And even like jacking off, it's I can make jokes about it. I really don't do it that often.
Hmm.
But you got to respect your nut a little bit more, not because I think jacking off just makes you tired and it's like kind of a loser thing to do all day, but like you said, dude, those can be some great people, right?
Yeah.
Those can be you might want to like save that up, right? Like you just never know who you're gonna, who's coming out of you, right? Like,
Right. You could make the opposite argument though. Like imagine, so I'm going to show you something real quick. Imagine what's in your balls is this kid right here.
This punishment stuff is going to stop.
You're not gonna tell me what I'm gonna do and not do.
I am now the alpha.
Bro, that's not how this works. I am the teacher.
The alpha takes priority over the teacher. The alpha takes priority over everything. Do you not know how that works?
The teacher is telling the alpha to sit in the seat right now.
And the alpha doesn't have to listen to orders from its mode.
Well, you don't have to listen, but the consequences that follow are going to still apply to the alpha.
The alpha doesn't take punishment.
Let's see how well that works out.
So like imagine that's what's in your balls, right?
that's a good jack. That's a good shoot. I think that's like dirty porn. Like I've like that's like a porn video like I regret watching. Like that's one of them.
Yeah. Or like here's another one. One sec. Let me pull this guy up. This is another great one. Like, what if this is it?
Yeah, I like the fuck. I got a fucking problem. I love bad bitches, not my fucking problem. I love bad bitches. Yeah, I like the fuck. I got a fucking problem. I'm gonna bring girls to the club. Maybe we can solve.
These comments, bro. Eminem's been real quiet.
If you close your eyes and listen, it's like you're at the concert. SpongeBob really snapped. Oh.
Shit. See, this is why I don't want a kid, bro. This is like my main reason of not wanting a kid.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of luck of the draw, you know. Although
Listen, you don't
in that kid's defense, right? In that kid's defense, like I remember when I was in middle school, right? And I'd drive to my middle school basketball game and I was in the car with my buddies and we were listening to fucking Lose Yourself, you know what I mean? Just getting into it, in our Nike Elite socks and all that shit. Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, but-
I've done exactly that, but I just wasn't stupid enough to record it. Like that's the only difference between him and me.
Yeah, when I was in like fourth grade, do you remember who Keenan Cahill was? The
No,
lip
I
syncing
don't.
kid?
No.
He ended up passing away. Rest in peace to him. He was a kid. He had a disease. He got really big from lip syncing music songs. Like 50 Cent did a video with him. Who else? Like Katy Perry. I think Snoop may have done one with him. Rest in peace. One of the first people who actually really inspired me to even kind of lead up to the things I've done with trying to make YouTube videos and whatever. Like, the first ever YouTube video I made, I was in third grade. I was lip syncing. What song was it? It's somewhere on the internet. I don't even remember the username.
I gotta find
Lazy
this.
Song by Bruno Mars, and I don't remember the other song, but I swear to God, and then it was
You
me
shouldn't have
playing
told me
drums.
that. I'm gonna go find.
And then it was
that
me-
shit.
Yeah, I was in 4th grade. It was me playing drums when I used to play the drums, and then it was me lip syncing. So those are my cringe videos. I'll find them and I'll fucking post it. Why not? I'll edit it over. But yeah, I mean everyone's done cringe shit, but virality with TikTok has made it like that's there forever, and you can't be like 19. Like I was 8 years old, dude. Like it's cute, you know. Like you can't be 17.
Well, I think this guy looks young. I mean, he honestly, he's one of those people who could be anywhere from like 11 to 18 years old. He's like a
I'm not gonna let. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna let my kid have a phone until he's like 16. I don't. No, no Instagram, no social media.
Yeah,
that's
well,
not
all
gonna
those
happen.
guys.
I didn't have
like Steve Jobs didn't let his kids have any Apple shit until they were like old, because he knows it's just fucking frying your brain.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, luckily when I was in high school, I had like the discipline not to have an Instagram account. I had Twitter because Twitter was like funny, right? Before everyone got all fucking sensitive.
One second. This goes back, dude, to what we were talking about at the beginning, like complaining about allergies and shit, and just how like did you hear what you just said? You said, dude, I had the discipline to not have an Instagram account.
Bro, a lot of people can't say that. That's the crazy thing.
Exactly. It's fucking crazy. I had the discipline to not have a free app on my phone and like sit on the toilet and look at it.
It's fucking true, bro.
What the fuck?
It's fucking true.
It's crazy.
We're so fucked as a generation.
Crazy,
like maybe I want my kids to hang out with the hunters. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a crazy thing to say, but even crazier is like you're like people like run their business, like they have like coaching businesses based on trying to get people to not be on their phone. You know what I mean? Like
that never made sense to me, bro.
You know what I mean?
That's retarded. Like if you're on your phone too much, bro, honestly, go find a fucking building and jump off of it, bro. That's nuts. If you're struggling, like
or just
that's,
like
that's
you know,
on you.
or maybe you could just like not be on your phone instead of like killing yourself. But whatever.
No, I meant like throw the phone off a building, not you kill yourself. You know what I mean?
I don't think that's what you meant. I think you want
a verbal
people to
typo. No, that was a verbal typo.
Nice. Okay.
That was a verbal. Yeah, my fault. I don't know. I don't think being off of your phone is like I'm only using social media now just for the comedy stuff and like you know we have to edit it. But it's like productive, you know, like it's leading towards something. Social media is a powerful tool. But I don't know. I think people who go on social media for attention, for digital attention, to not build towards anything except their own self-ego are a big contributor to why I don't want a child. I don't want a 14-year-old kid. I don't want a kid whose entire ego has been so instilled by what other people he's never met think about him, what other people who don't care about him think about him. It's just something I just don't want to deal with. You know, I think
if you do a good job, though, you know what I mean?
Just get your kid into sports or something, but like I don't know.
Yeah.
Dude,
that's a big thing because it's like the after school shit that kids do and like who they do it with is massive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I was grateful. I'm very grateful to my parents for like putting me in shit. Like they put me in basketball. They let me do whatever I want growing up, really, right? Even like now, they're like, yo, with comedy, yo, just do it, but you need to work your hardest when you do it, right?
Exactly.
It's the same. I think that was the thing I was grateful for, but I mean, I don't know, dude. Like I look at some of these kids who are like 14, 15 who just sit on like the one thing. Sorry, I'm going a little sidetracked here, right?
Go.
I'll wrap it all up. The one thing that didn't make sense when like I had a friend who I was talking to, and he was telling me he was mad about Elon Musk taking over Twitter. He's kind of a leftist, and I was like, "Why are you mad?" He's like, "He ruined the app." I'm like, "All right, you can delete the app." he's like, dude, but like the blue check mark thing, like now people are gonna have a hard time knowing shit. I'm like, bro, do you see how stupid you sound? Like this guy bought a business, he wants to make money off of the business, and you're complaining because it's now harder for you to look at other people's tweets. And now you feel you're not in an inclusive virtual environment. So my point tying back to that is people's lives, especially younger kids, they're getting tied back to their phones, and it's why, you're seeing a rise of some of these figures like Tate who are like, yo, like we need to, kind of bring the manlyhood back into men, but I don't know,
Yeah.
it's a little counterintuitive as well. It's a tricky and complicated situation, man.
You should teach a course.
On what?
I don't know, call it like what would your like scam course be? So like Tate's got Hustlers University, right? Like what would your scam course be?
How to get through TSA without getting suspected of being a terrorist?
See, I think you have a lot more to offer than just dodging the TSA. I believe in you.
I don't know. Well,
that'd be a good one.
The one thing I don't like about the bald Romanian guy, is he teaches, he's telling men to like not go on OF and to like be more like men while doing this on Discord, which I think is the biggest center for losers, as well as he runs a webcam business, which the clientele is men. So I don't. Like, I
Right.
think he's kind of hypocritical in that sense, and I think I think what he
Absolutely, yeah.
does is he's like I think if you want, I think the important thing for guys is to go outside, have a normal, like go play sports, go to a fucking dirty baseball field and
Mhm.
with like a tennis ball and like a fucking old baseball, like those are experiences. Go ride your bike outside, like stop playing video games. You can't. The one thing I saw that was really sad, I remember, was I saw a kid in my hometown on his Friday nights. Him and his friends got on Discord to chat, and I
Yeah.
was like, "Bro, go. There's a trampoline place me and my friends used to go to on Fridays. Go there." Like, I
Yeah.
think that's the big problem. I think COVID really pushed that as well.
Well, I think, and I don't know if I've heard someone say this before. It's not my idea, but it's something I believe in. It's probably Rogan or something. But like, so go back to those dudes in Africa, right, who are hunting baboons and shit. Like,
Mm-hmm.
your body is supposed to be used, and you're supposed to like exert effort. And if you don't do that, like all that energy is just sort of like there, and you get all angsty and you start like whining about some guy who's way more successful than you, like, you know, starting a blue check mark thing, right? What, dude, Twitter's so weird. The whole Twitter thing's so weird because it's like you got these people trying to like dunk on someone who, you know, maybe he's spent too much for Twitter, but he had enough money to spend $44 billion on something, right? You're out there trying to dunk on him and tell him how to run a business. It's weird. It's so weird.
The problem is the people who are doing it, their whole life depends on Twitter. They wake up. These are the people who used to wake up, wait for Trump to tweet, and then reply, and they would want to be the first reply. And these are grown ass men too. These aren't like kids with like young boy profile pictures. These are fully grown adults who just sit on Twitter the whole day. Their whole existence relies. Dave, you know what? Dave Chappelle, at the end of the closer or one of the quotes, I'm gonna put this quote up. He mentioned it perfectly. I think he said a quote like Twitter is not a real place, and that's why he doesn't care what fucking people think about there.
Mhm.
It's just not, right? And the people are going to be left behind, you know, pinning their existence and pinning their identity to what other people behind a fucking phone screen think about them. You need to have fun. I think social media is a very powerful tool, but you can't make this everything. You know, we're trying to build what we need to build off social media. We obviously get hate comments, we get likes, we get people who like our shit. Obviously it feels good, but it's not like we don't go about our day. We laugh off at the hate comments, but we don't go about our day letting it dragging us around. The things that matter to us is all right when we actually go on a stage, right? When we're actually in front of people, how do we perform? Like to me, like 3 people laughing at a comedy club is more valuable than some people finding it funny on Instagram. That's just the truth of it, because real life is what's going to define you.
Right. I think, you're getting very motivational today. I'm just going to say. Like,
Yeah.
especially these last
I,
like
was-
5,
I
10
watched
minutes.
that Chappelle.
You're getting
Yeah.
after it, dude. Look at you.
I'm gonna go on a. I think I'm gonna go on a hunting trip with that African tribe right after this, just
Yeah,
to
dude.
really, eat raw baboon and bees.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited for you, dude. I think you're gonna learn how to shoot a bow. I think you're gonna learn some new languages and make some new connections. I think it's gonna be good for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man.
All right,
I don't know.
I mean,
You
we're
got anything
approaching
else?
an hour.
Yeah.
No, I mean we're approaching the hour. We might go to Japan if we can figure out a fucking date pretty soon. So we'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, we'll have to do that in advance. We have to get a group and all that.
I'm going to India. I'm going back to India
Oh,
after
nice.
years.
When?
Yeah, I'm not excited. December, so hopefully we can go to Japan right before and then have my fucking that high go get right dumped back to the lows, and then I go back to work and it's another low. You know what I mean? So
Well, I don't now, but
you're lucky.
what's wrong with India? You said you're not excited?
No, not at all. India sucks.
Yeah.
There's nothing. The weather sucks. The pollution sucks.
Yeah.
And the thing was, when I used to go back there, I could see some. I went to an American embassy school in India for a year, right?
Yep.
So I would be able to go see my friends, and last time I went, I was in 8th grade,
Yeah.
right? So I'd be able to see my friends because they were still there.
Wow.
They're all in college. I don't know anybody at that school anymore.
Yep.
And I'm not going to be a 22-year-old man wandering around the high school.
That's smart.
That's not, especially when a lot of these parents are diplomats and fucking foreign ambassadors.
Well, they're probably
so,
into it, then, man. They're on the Epstein list.
Hey, shit, they might be. We'll actually keep that story for next week.
Sounds good.
Keep 2 stories about India for next week. One, we had I knew someone from my middle school, his mom's car got bombed. And then the second one, an uncle and dad shot each other over a house or some shit like that, apparently. So those would be 2 stories for next week. So if you made it this far, subscribe. Hopefully, let's put this one on Spotify as well. So if you're on Spotify, make sure you listen to it next week as well. That's all it for me. Jackson, any tips to the viewers before they go about their day?
Just a gentle reminder to tip your masseuse. I'm pretty big about that. And then like we talked about here, go outside, man. Fucking go play golf or some shit, Get some sun, get some vitamin dick in you and just get after it. You know what I mean? Have a good weekend, have a good day.
Yeah, and me and Jackson said if we get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the summer, we will get a couples male massage therapy together, and we'll live stream it. Yep. So, go subscribe.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure we will have our personal Instagrams, our personal YouTubes, our personal stuff where we will be doing our stand-up things. Go watch those, please. Keep up with us. Hopefully we can start doing shows down the line.
This is
follow, subscribe.
It's like the Lord of the Rings where you think it's going to end 5 different times.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and then also, Jackson, I have another story I actually need to tell you before we head off. Yeah, I mean, that's it for me. All right, let's actually fucking cut it. Adios.